Hello, we are pleased to welcome you to an all-new My Consultant Interview Series episode. Today we have with us licensed certified immigration consultant Scott Smith. With a long-time passion for international mobility and working with international students to help them reach their immigration goals, we are honored for the opportunity to hear the insights of RCIC Scott Smith. Hello and welcome to MyConsultant.ca Interview Series. Today we have immigration consultant Scott Smith. Thank you so much for joining us.
Hi Tashina, it's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. I noticed you have a committed and intimate statement on your website, and it reads, "We are with you every step of your immigration journey." What does this statement mean to you as an immigration and citizenship consultant?
Yeah, I think that we look at the immigrant experience as a life cycle. And so it really begins with a thorough, competent consultation where we really listen to the client, we listen to the student, and we're with them and we accompany them throughout the journey until they become a permanent resident of Canada. And we really look at international students as our future permanent residents and citizens. And so it's very important that we begin with the end in mind. That's sort of our I suppose our slogan at iHeart Canada is that we ask students to imagine their goals, and then we work with them in developing steps towards reaching those goals.
So I see that you have a focus on helping international students settle in Canada through provincial nominee programs, study permits, and postgraduate work permits. Where does your passion for helping the next generation come from?
Mm-hmm. Well, thanks, Tashina. That's a great question. I like to balance working as a consultant, as a licensed consultant, with my work in education. And so I do have a passion for teaching. I do teach at the university. And I see the investment in knowledge for the next generation of permanent residents and Canadian citizens. And so I've been in post-secondary institutions for probably most of my life. And so I feel a tremendous sense of pride in representing Canadian universities and colleges. And so working with international students really, I think it really gels with my own personal priorities as well as our country's commitment to attracting the next generation of permanent residents.
Wow. Can I say that was very inspiring? Because it was.
That's the goal, is that we derive a lot of inspiration, and that's what we hope we reflect in our work. Thanks, Tashina.
I got that. So you've been an immigration consultant for a number of years. Mm-hmm. What drew you to this profession?
So I was really fortunate in that I grew up in West Africa. I spent so much time in Nigeria. 8 years of my life I spent with my father in Lagos, Nigeria, and so I've had this real interest in international mobility. And so when I started my post-secondary studies, my original goal was to get into diplomacy and to become a diplomat and represent Canada that way. And eventually I started working in the private sector and gaining experience. So really it comes from my own personal experience of having traveled and again, just seeing the value of a Canadian education for international students and students from all over the world. And so Nigeria does represent a really important country of origin that we work with. And so I think a lot of it comes from that early experience.
I appreciate that. It is a huge task to move to another country, and to ensure a smooth journey, what would you suggest for potential immigrants before they even make their immigration applications?
Yeah, and I think this is so crucial when we look at the role of a really competent, ethical immigration consultant, is to really listen to the dreams and listen to the goals of your students or your clients. And so the essential aspect here is listening and formulating a plan. Canada is not only about dreams. I mean, there's a lot of expectations, but there's realities in terms of being able to to settle and become economically established in Canada. So I think it really begins with a very comprehensive, thorough consultation, where you really sort of begin to understand the goals and working and the steps that it takes towards achieving those goals. But certainly, it's not always the most straightforward of processes either, right? There's a lot of intervening steps along the way, and so our role, I think, is to really understand those steps and to help break it down into very manageable steps for our clients.
Appreciate that. So you were a member of the Canadian Association of Professional Immigration Consultants. What was the reason for you to become a member of CAPIC, and how has it been important to you?
I think CAPIC is so important for me because I really love and value sharing my knowledge and sharing the experiences that I've had as a consultant. And so the mentorship aspect of being in this organization is super important to me. And so helping especially new consultants navigate some of these difficult questions around, whether it's a study permit application or whether it's a transition to permanent residency, I really derive a lot of value in being able to share that knowledge with my fellow colleagues.
Awesome. Mm-hmm. So Scott and I are currently at the 18th National Citizenship and Immigration Conference in Winnipeg, Manitoba. Would you be able to give our audience an idea of what this event is and how long you've been attending, and why do you return?
Yeah, the yearly conference is a place where we get together and we network. Obviously, there's a lot of information being passed around. It's our chance to not only share our expertise and our experiences and learn from others, but we get to meet. We get to meet decision makers. We get to meet people in government who are sort of behind the scenes. And so, for example, hosting a study permit panel tomorrow, the last day of the conference, is going to allow us to sit with senior people at IRCC, get a sense of their priorities and their goals, and then help to diffuse that to the membership. So I think attending these yearly conferences is a tremendous opportunity for us to help shape the profession while learning a lot of essential tips and practical things in our practice.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Scott, for sharing your time and your knowledge with us at MyConsultant.ca's Interview Series.